Hello. Episode 4 coming at ya. We're going to wrap up the PS3 files and hopefully this episode and the next one, and I want to move on to some other things. I've loved talking about all the games that are compatible with an arcade stick for the PS3, but man, I am also excited to move on to new territory, right? It's all about discovering new things. Well, let's start with our first game on the list here from wikipedia.org. It's called TNT Racers. TNT, Tracks and Tricks. It's a top-down arcade-style racer. It features 16 vehicles with various strengths and weaknesses. In races, the player can use power-ups that are scattered around the 18 tracks to destroy opponents and hazards in their path. All right, fun racing game, kind of like Mario Kart, but top-down instead. Let's move on to our next game here, folks. It's from Metacritic.com. It's called Deathmatch Village. It's chock full of frenetic shotgun blasting and pitchfork prodding action. This free-to-play 2D multiplayer game is a breath of fresh air for the whole MOBA genre. Crush your opponents. I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite, but when you get something for free, it's pretty fun still to play something that you got for free. Can't really complain. Next game comes from wikipedia.org. It's called N2O Nitrous Oxide. It takes the form of a tube shooter in which the player shoots insects while collecting E-coins, mushroom shields, and other psychedelically themed weapon power-ups. As more and more insects are shot, the game increases speed. Besides the single-player mode, N2O features a cooperative multiplayer mode with a shared screen or a split screen. So that's awesome. It's cooperative. Good cooperative shooting game. I'd like to try that with a friend, but the single mode is awesome, and the soundtrack is done by Crystal Method, so it kind of sounds like you're at a rave. So, and I kind of like that kind of music, so it makes me excited when I play that game. All right, let's move on to our next one here. It's called Mobile Light Force, otherwise known as Gunbird. It uses manga-styled characters as the player's chosen crafts, and the story plays out in between levels and before boss fights. It tells you a tale of how the protagonists are trying to collect pieces of magic mirror to make a wish. It's a great vertical shooter, if I didn't say that already, and I highly suggest playing that. Awesome with an arcade stick, of course. There's not too many things that aren't awesome with an arcade stick. All right, our next game on the list here is Sonic Wings Special, another fun vertical shooter. It combines the features in Sonic Wings 2, and Sonic Wings 3. And it was ported to the arcade as Sonic Wings Limited. Sonic Wings Limited. Okay, so that's a great one to play as well. Not tons of description on that, but it's been around for a long time. I think it's even been called Aero Fighters, so you would know it if you saw it, I'm sure, if you're like a fan of retro gaming like I am. Let's move on to wikipedia.org, as was the other one, the last game I read. But this one's called Shooter Space Shot, which is known in Japan as Simple 1500 Series 35, The Shooting. It's a horizontally scrolling shoot-'em-up game. Though still quite vague, the story takes place in the future. A space war is going on between a technologically advanced empire and a fairly well-advanced republic, which is in control of a task force of spaceship pilots, known as the Republic Special Forces, that are regularly sent in to destroy large enemy fortifications and mechs. Players assume the role of one of the fighters named Cyber Spears, who, along with his companions, fight their missions whilst reporting the ever-developing technology of their enemies. There you go. That's Shooter Space Shot. We're going to move on to Medal of Honor. It's a first-person shooter video game on the PS1. You can download this from the PlayStation Store for your PS3. It is, it speaks for itself, but I'll read you a little bit of the gameplay. The player takes the role of fictional Lieutenant Jimmy Patterson, a former C-47 Skytrain pilot in the Air Transport Command, who was later recruited to the OSS. It takes place at the end of World War II. The goal of the game is to complete various OSS missions, such as rescuing an American pilot, going undercover to board and destroy a U-boat, recovering stolen artwork, and sabotaging the Nazi war effort. Okay, now you think, how many times are you going to get a chance to play a first-person shooter that's modern, like past the year, on the year 2000 or past that is going to allow you to use an arcade stick? Nah, it doesn't happen. They're usually the typical dual analog sticks that we all play with today, right? So it's pretty fun trying to play this with an arcade stick. I don't really have a problem with using the buttons to help me move one item and the actual stick to move the player. So I don't have a problem with it. I would suggest you get it. Give it a try. Give it a shot, especially if you get a good deal on this thing. Let's move on. Also from wikipedia.org, as was the Medal of Honor game. This is a 1999 kart racing video game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation. The game focuses on the efforts of Crash Bandicoot, Dr. Neo Cortex, and other ragtag team of characters in the Crash Bandicoot series who must race against the egomaniacal nitrous oxide to save the Earth from destruction. All right. Love this game. Like I said, I've said to friends in the past, I said, if it's anything like Mario Kart, I'm going to like it. And it's really good. It's really fun. Okay, now in this one, also from wikipedia.org, I'm not really going to mention the games here, but it's obviously the Namco Museum series. You know that they're an arcade series, so you're obviously going to be able to use an arcade stick. You're going to get close to, if you get all of them, I think you can get close to 40 games there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 after you've done the second, so 7 and 6. The third one's got, it looks like it adds up to close to 40 if you have all of them. So that gives you a lot of arcade games you can play with that stick on the PS3. All right, well, now we're moving on to PlayStation.com, store.playstation.com. And this game is Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. And I believe it has a fuller name here called the Free Alliances version. There we go. And it's the latest installment of the Empire series in which you aim to conquer ancient China using both strategy and the one warrior versus 1,000 tactical action the Warrior series is known for. The player becomes a hero from Three Kingdoms era with the goal of unifying all of ancient China under their rule. It's free. It's fun. It probably shouldn't be free. It's so good, but I'm not going to complain. And in terms of like the last free game I read about, which was called Deathmatch Village, I think this game far, far surpasses that in terms of what you're going to get out of a free game. So let me just mention one other thing here. It tells you what you get with the free version. You can enjoy a selection of the features from the retail version, including the ability to play invasion and defensive battles in free mode. You can also enjoy playing online with players who own the retail version. Like I said, you could try that. I mean, I don't know if I've tried that yet. I don't remember if I've even checked that out. If I can connect with other people on multiplayer for the PS3 for this, but you can give it a shot and see if it works for you. All right, let's go to Super Star Soldier. It's a scrolling shooter. It's a vertical shooter. It was published by Hudson Soft. Came out on the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine. It's part of a series that was created by Hudson Soft. So you've definitely, if you haven't played it, give it a shot. It's fun. Here's a little bit of the plot summary. Taking place 4 years after Star Soldier, the original galactic invaders known as the Starbrain Corps have returned from their crushing defeat from the Caesar starfighter, and they are now led by the ultimate spaceship, Motherbrain. Earth's only defense lies in the Neo-Caesar starfighter to finish what was started. This is from wikipedia.org as well, where I got this plot summary from. And great game. Lots of fun. I had a friend who had a TurboGrafx 16, and anytime he brought that thing out to play, I was always amazed. I thought it was really great. And I used to, on Saturdays, go to the shopping downtown with my mom and aunt, and the Bay had a TurboGrafx 16 on display, and I just thought this thing was amazing. Now having tried the Super Nintendo, Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, all of them. I think probably for me the Super Nintendo is the best of the three, but I always have a place in my heart for the Sega Genesis and any games on that. Okay. Now I am on my next game. It is called this one's action-packed, folks. The best of board games. This description comes from Metacritic.com. And what can I tell you about it? It has chess, mahjong, solitaire. You can discover those three timeless classics in this scintillating compilation. So, I mean, like, you don't really need an arcade stick for it, but if I'm trying to be technical here about using arcade sticks, I'm obviously going to mention this so you at least are aware of it. Great. Okay, well, let's see what else is on the list. We also have from the store.playstation.com, we have Soldier Blade as well. It's a brand new shooter in the Star Soldier tradition. You're an SIA Special Interception Air Force pilot flying the heavy assault fighter Soldier Blade. Face the Zeograd invasion force with weapon attacks that change each time you grab a power-up item. You can unleash 3 different kinds of attack, depending on the color of the power-up item. New features such as the gun body option for avoiding enemy attacks and the burst-out system, which has a different effect depending on your power-up level, add a strategic element which requires you make snap decisions about which items to grab and when to use special attacks. All right, vertical shooter. I've said this to many friends in the past. If I haven't said this on this podcast already, I have a deep love for vertical shooters. I just kind of discovered them over the last 3 years, and big fan of the action that comes with vertical shooters and dodging the oncoming enemies and the rapid bullet fire that you're trying to evade, and just like the strategy you have to do when you're moving around and trying to avoid getting shot. I think it's pretty fun, actually. Like, I'm a big fan. Right. Moving on to wikipedia.org here, which I like to get a lot of my summaries from, as you can tell when I do this podcast. The game is Little Big Planet, which I think a lot of people have played. But it does work with an arcade stick. I have not gone super far in this game, but my main goal whenever I get a new PS3 game is, can it work with an arcade stick? So I was able to do all the operations that I could thought that were possible with this game. So I can't see why it wouldn't work with the arcade stick. So I'm going to put that on my list, of course, as I'm reading it to you. So if you don't know much about it, it's a puzzle platform video game. It comes from a series, and they put a strong emphasis in most of these games on user-generated content, and they're based on the series tagline, play, create, and share. Anyway, you can definitely give that one a shot. It does work with a stick, as I said before. So, and that's from Wikipedia, of course. For this next game, also from Wikipedia.org, is NASCAR the Game 2011. It's available for the PS3, the Xbox 360, and also the Wii. And it is the first NASCAR game since the contract between EA Sports and NASCAR expired, not including Gran Turismo 5, and the first by Activision Blizzard since NASCAR Racing 2003 season. There's some interesting stats for you. I say this all the time, folks. You know what I'm going to say. All racing games are going to work with an arcade stick. And I can almost guarantee that. I shouldn't say all, but I'm pretty sure it's 99.9%, you know. Okay, let's do a Need for Speed Carbon next. This comes from Amazon.ca, this description, and it's a good one, so let's go for it. It says here, survive the Canyon, all-new Canyon Duel and Drift race modes that are the ultimate test of skill and nerve, where one wrong turn could cost you more than the race. The city is yours for the taking. Race for control of the city block by block by taking down rival crews on their turf, then defeat their crew leaders. Oh, I got some information coming up here. In life or death races in Carbon Canyon. I just about lost my page. Customize your dream cars. The revolutionary new Auto Sculpt car customization tool gives you the power to design and tweak your crew's cars in every way imaginable. Great game. Great game. Got that for quite a decent price at my thrift store close to me. So that's from Amazon.ca. I'm becoming very conscious of making sure if I think I haven't mentioned my source, I try to do that again. Hopefully it's not too annoying to people, but hey, I want to make sure. So Amazon.ca also, I got FIFA Soccer 12 for the PS3. I found it no different than the 2014 Brazil edition that I played and talked about earlier on the show, I think the last episode. So works well with an arcade stick, lots of fun. And one thing I've learned is if you've mastered one-timers playing NHL 94 to 98 like I have as a younging, I find that this FIFA Soccer series on PS3, I mean, it feels like the same thing. If you can master, the pass and shoot really quick one-timer, you can score a lot of goals. Now, I can't speak for the most modern versions of the FIFA, but I had no problem picking this one up and the 2014 version that I talked about and just scoring tons of goals with Balotelli mostly in the 2014. So, pretty good game. Great with an arcade stick. Okay, we're moving on to Gran Turismo 5 from Wikipedia.org. Let's get you a plot summary here. Well, you kind of know this series, I'm sure, if you're a PlayStation fan. Anyways, a beautiful racing series. The game marks the first entry in the series with online races with support for up to 16 players. A damage model has been included with variations of damage depending on the car. Over 1,000 cars, 29 different locations, 77 different tracks, a track generator that are all available in the game. Dynamic time and weather effects make their debut in this series, and it says here, World Rally Championship, NASCAR, and Super GT licenses are utilized for the first time in the Gran Turismo series. Okay, well, that's a good stat to read you guys about Gran Turismo 5, because I'm sure you know a lot about it. Hey, it's a racing game. It's going to work with an arcade stick. I've done it. Pretty fun. It's not my favorite racing game series, though, I'll tell you that. I'm kind of a fan of Forza, Project Gotham Racing. Those are kind of my favorites at the moment, but Gran Turismo is pretty fun too, and there'll be people who will easily argue that Gran Turismo is much better than the two that I mentioned, but that's my preference. All right, we're going to go to store.playstation.com. That Gran Turismo summary was from Wikipedia, by the way. And we are on store.playstation.com for Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe. Ooh, I ordered this one on eBay. And I'm not going to say I got a heck of a good deal on it. I paid a price that I felt was good enough for me to get this game. So you may opt out of getting this unless you're going to get something. I did not pay under $10. I'll tell you that right now. But I just wanted to get this game. So I didn't really care about price for this one. So let's talk about this game. It can be downloaded and is available for play for up to... Oh, this is the actual... Hold on a second here. There we go. It is obviously a fighting game. And you get the best characters from the DC universe as well as from Mortal Kombat. The fatalities are awesome when you're using any of the characters, as they usually are for Mortal Kombat. I've just got into it a little bit, but obviously, like I said, fighting games work really, really well with the arcade sticks. That's an obvious thing. I think that's about all I can say for this. It does say here at one point in time, though, that there was a full game trial that was downloadable for play up to 60 minutes within 365 days of download. I don't know much about that. I just popped this page up so I could give some sort of summary of it. And here is the main thing that I really want to get from this page. It says, download Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe today, and when worlds collide, heroes and villains must choose their side and fight as a sinister plot. With cataclysmic results unfolds, which side will you choose? That's all you need to know. It's DC versus Mortal Kombat, right? So you can get yourself the Street Fighter versus Marvel. You can get yourself the DC versus Mortal Kombat. Now you got everything covered, right, for fighting games. Awesome. All right, let's wrap this up with our last one. Okay. Now, I've played Time Crisis on the PS3, and it's, of course, compatible with an arcade stick because it's an arcade original game. Now, you might want to know a little bit about the plot, so let's get to that. It opens in California, where intelligence officials from the U.S. Armed Forces and VSSE organization learn about a top-secret weapon targeted for terrorist smuggling and their plot. William Rush infiltrates a pier to gather information and learns that the enemy acquired insect-like weapons, terabytes. Informed by Elizabeth Conway about an information leak accident at the airport, Rush accompanies VSSE agents Giorgio Bruno and Evan Bernard. They defeat Marcus Black at the city. They discover U.S. Army dog tags on each soldiers. The terrorist faction is then revealed to be the Biological Weapons Special Operations Unit. Rush, Giorgio, and Evan fly to Wyoming's secluded bioweapons research facility, but are too late to stop the supply of terabytes from being stolen. And the game continues and continues and continues on with action-packed adventure as we go along. So I'm not going to read the entire plot summary for you guys. You got a bit of it, you got the understanding of it, and you got the gist. But that's one fun game I like to play in the arcade. It would be, I think some people would probably be able to configure their the PlayStation Move, that stick there that you hold to become a light gun. I've seen that done on YouTube, so that's something you can even consider doing when you're playing a game like this. However, it's pretty good with an arcade stick, obviously. So, guys, I did not think I was going to do it, and I think I flubbed a little bit along the way here, but I got through a very kind of long episode for me as I'm reading. I did it. It's done. We're going to finish off with one more of the PS3 files next time, and then we move on, folks. We move on. All right, it's great talking to you.